and then her mother left. Those were the facts. No matter how Nat arranged the facts in her head, she couldn't really make them add up to something that was okay. It wasn't. Over the years, her brain, almost without her permission, had even formed a pretty complete image of what her mother looked like. Beautiful, blonde, pale, freckled. The whole portrait was pleasantly blurry, as though someone had put a glowing Instagram filter on it and turned it up so high you couldn't really make out the specific features of her mother's face. When Nat thought about it too much, which she did all the time, without being able to help it, she sometimes decided that her mother must have been a terrible person who wasn't worth knowing. Other times she figured there was probably a really good reason for everything, and so her mother, whoever she was, had had a good reason to go. It was a lot to carry around inside her head. Her dad clearly didn't want to talk about it, or at least he never had so far, and she never brought it up with Solly, who was, in theory anyway, her best friend. But Nat was a person who loved possibilities. And when it came to her mysterious missing mother, there were a lot of possibilities. It was possible Nat just didn't want to know who she was. It was possible she would never want to know. And at the same time, it was possible she did want to know. It was even possible she wanted her dad to just tell her already without waiting to be asked. It was also possible that she was glad he continued to pretend he didn't know that she sometimes did and sometimes did not want to know. Life was like that. A lot of thin layers all stacked together to make something whole, like a puff pastry. Thinking about puff pastry made Nat hungry, but thinking about her mother was more like poking a bruise. Except the bruise was her heart, and the poke was just metaphorical, not literal. People who said literally when they meant the opposite drove Nat crazy. In addition to all the above possibilities, a new possibility Nat was considering, the most exciting one, was that it was possible that if her mother were to meet her now that Nat was 12 years old and not a purple-faced crying baby, maybe she would like her. Maybe even love her. Some people were just not baby people. And Nat might love her back. It was a huge what-if that hung over Nat perpetually, like a thought cloud in a graphic novel. But there was no changing the enormous and unforgivable fact that Nat was born and her mother up and left without even giving her a chance, and apparently did not look back. Nat loved her, whoever she was, because she couldn't help it. Nat hated her, whoever she was, because she couldn't help it. See? It was complicated. Nat made her way down the trail, parts of which were muddier and steeper than they looked from up top. It wasn't much of a path. Nature was a lot messier when you were in it than when you looked on postcards, and Canada was very naturey and messy. This beach was called French Beach, even though it was nowhere near the French part of Canada, which was on the other side of the country. It was, at least, a beach, and Nat liked the name. It was très bien. She liked everything French, no matter what. Je t'aime, she said out loud. That means I love you in French. Her French was pretty good. It was one of her favorite languages to memorize. It made her think of bunches of flowers tied together with soft, pretty ribbons. Nat kicked a big broken branch out of her way. Her shoelace got caught and came undone. She leaned down and tied it up. She tried not to make eye contact with her sneaker. Solly had drawn pictures of hearts.